This is the warden. And she's out of Model Magic. And she already has the special shoes that I just made. Just like a number blocks. Where the number 2 shows the shoes, which are called magical dancing shoes. Meaning that her shoes are actually more pointier and more scary. One thing that I have to show you is how her head actually moves. You see, if you have her and she sniffs for someone, it actually counts that she is going to kill a human being. And she could hurt you, but out of Model Magic, no, that is not the case. She can just rub you in creative mode. And she can sniff on anyone, but even if you hit her, this is the same symbol that was made out of an item frame. So if you hurt the warden with this, then she can actually take damage. And then she'll attack you with her one-shot hit. Almost one shot, but she can use a sonic beam too. Meaning that if you pull the sword all the way, she can still have the sword in her arm. And even if you take off her arm, it counts that it went to her on her body. But if you stick it all the way on her back, it counts that it went through her and went to her heart. If you put it on the back again, but now it will count as the sword went through from the back to her stomach. But that's not what we have in mind right now. This giant piece of meat counts as the number of food that she takes. Like, she is feeding herself cooked meat or cooked beef. In Bedrock Edition, it's cooked beef, while in Java Edition, it's steak. So that means that she can be a player. That means that I'm feeding the warden that even though she is still holding the item, she can hold an infinite amount of blocks, food, or even unbreakable blocks, if you mention that. And this is 10 minutes of my Model Magic warden back that I created today. So what happens if you give her an unlimited amount? Well, she can still hold it in her hand, but she can also hold stuff in her offhand. She can hold a sword. But did you know that in in Model Magic Minecraft 1.0.0.11, she can eat the sword and then she will attack it? This can only happen in ancient cities and was found in version 0.0.11. This can only be found in the very first version of Minecraft Model Magic, which was found in 2023. Well, but the warden was added, which was the first ever, which was one out of the first 5 mobs to ever exist. The second mob was the villager, an iconic mob, but he can have arms tangled to each other. Number 2 is the Vindicator, which is the second mob. When he is regular, he has the same type as the Evoker and the Villager, but not the same thing as the Pillager. Because you know, if the Pillager is right near you, or if you're right near a Vindicator or a Pillager, then they'll hurt you with. But the Evoker is kind of sus, meaning that a Vindicator holds an iron axe, but some Vindicators can hold an enchanted iron axe in their hands, meaning that you have a 10% chance for them to drop an enchanted iron axe with an enchantment that I really don't know of. That even that if you add the iron axe, he can only be found in the Woodland Mansion or during a raid. Okay, this is a Vindicator, and sometimes in older versions, in ancient model game, Vindicators keep their nose down, but in the very first version of Model Magic Minecraft, instead of them using their nose like this, they now hold their nose and now they show their mouth.
Bubba,
What?
you see this?
The Vindicator is like the same thing as the Warden, but he has an axe, and the Warden can hold it. And just like the Warden, he can hold something in his off hand, but most Vindicators hold them in that hand. And just like some Wardens, 89% of Wardens hold them in this hand, in the regular hand, but 11% of Vindicators and Wardens hold their weapon or piece of food in their offhand, which is how many skeletons are in the real world. 89 and 11 make 100, meaning that he can keep on eating the food forever until he starts to completely get so big that even he'll weigh much bigger than Steve weighs. He weighs like bigger than most exoplanets.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. What can I do to make it right? Insurance companies are bad partners. For over 100 years, HHR has been holding an account.
And actually, this is how big a Warden's belly can be. It could be up to an entire block before it starts to completely evaporate. But Alex's can go way further than that. It can extend further than a block, which was around 1.2 meters, about the same size as an entire snow block and one top snow. But once it exploded or completely evaporated, it completely shows this outline of him being a traffic light. And even it completely left pieces all around the ancient city, showing that a huge piece went all the way to the portal, showing that it was way too big. Like his belly was like a piece of pizza that you could eat. Maybe there was no way of getting his belly out. And he kept on getting his own steak from villagers, trading with them, and starts to get it from another villager, and then he starts getting his tendrils more and more bigger. Even how big these tendrils can be, you ask? Especially it can be at an infinite scale. No matter how big his tendrils are, he could still eat the steak until his belly completely evaporates, which you can hold it around an entire block heck was that?
Mocha.
Also, an older version of the game, there was a glitch that if he just kept eating steak, his belly would get even bigger and his tendrils would get way more scarier. But it's good that Thorn Gaming, that Mercury Thorn Gaming 9 coming up fixed that. But there was another glitch, and this happened in today's version. That if he just kept on eating steak, the same glitch happened with his belly, but if he just kept on eating it now, he would grow 2 extra tendrils. All of his tendrils would be like a skull sensor, but the maximum amount of tendrils would be 4 tendrils, like a skull sensor. But he fixed that and made it up to 6. Until then, he ate an amethyst shard. An amethyst shard. And then that entire amethyst shard was completely in him. Then it made him get an amethyst shard right out of himself. And maybe that amethyst shard is really going around everywhere.
Judge Domingo, some of your behaviors is just not stable. And it wasn't because I was assaulting in my home. I was assaulting in a home that he attempted to try and live with me.
Even he would actually get an amethyst shard out on. He will get pieces of amethyst shards all over, making him look like an amethyst shard. But if he just ate it, he would. But there was another glitch. And if he just ate an amethyst shard, he would get this two big, really weird item that completely showed what in the world this item actually was. And he knew that was an amethyst, a cooked amethyst sword, a cooked amethyst sword. And that was a new item in Minecraft, including spawn eggs, and including this giant piece. His big sword could do to around 960 HP, meaning that you could fully one-shot the Ender Dragon. And if you just eat, but in older versions, if he just ate it, it would be invisible and he would completely eat it. And even it would come out of his hand, but even though it would look like this for some reason, I don't even understand. I don't even understand how this even happened in Minecraft. But finally, in the latest update, they changed the sword from this to even this. Suffocating in Minecraft is a really good thing in Minecraft, but if you put a Vindicator on top of a wooden, it will become a Vindicator. How does this even happen? Like, the wooden can have like 2 heads. Like, he could have 4 arms and 4 legs. Get off me. It would be like growing out of his stomach. And then he would have another head, showing that he was pretending that he was the Wither. And then they removed the Vindicator and added him to the game. And it can only be found in woodland mansions or in ancient cities. because he has the ability to stack up items on top of another item. You could create this weird, disturbing item that the texture was fixed and it looked kind of. And literally, this was connected by a huge piece of pork chop. I completely got around it. And even though this big sword was completely getting hold in this weird mob, he completely just ate it, and then he added another item. He added the iron axe, which is really cool. But if you hit him even once, then he'll lose his item and his head. And if you keep on hitting him, he will lose everything that the Vindicator just gave him. And he'll just be a normal warden for his life. But there is 3,578 types of Vindicators all around Minecraft. Go ahead and snap. Stop repeating the heck of video all over. And that's the end. See you in part 2.